We all know that there's no knot that Our Lady cannot undo. Pope Francis has renewed and strengthened our faith in this during his pontificate. The Pope once said that Mary unties the knot of sin. Principally, she unties the knot of sin. What Eve has bound by her disobedience, Our Lady undoes by her obedience. And since it is that at the root of all evil there is sin, Our Lady, by undoing the knot of sin, undoes every other evil which is its consequence. In the history of salvation, Our Lady has proved this innumerable times. But one of the greatest examples of this is precisely the example of her apparition in Mexico. The apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe. There were a lot of knots that needed to be untangled for the gospel to be able to take root in Mexico, and Our Lady undid them all. There were many difficulties when the Franciscan missionaries arrived in Mexico. They didn't know the language. Not only did they not know the language, they faced hostility, indifference, not only from the natives, who were fearful of these new missionaries, diffident, wouldn't trust them. It took a while to win their trust. They faced hostility, and even more hostility, from the Spanish colonists who exploited the Indians. And when the Franciscans tried to protect the Indians from exploitation by the unscrupulous Spanish rulers, they faced opposition not only by the Spanish, who defended their quote-unquote rights to be lords and rulers of the conquered people. They faced opposition even from other religious orders. They faced opposition on all sides. It got so bad that the Spanish even tried to assassinate the holy bishop, Juan de Zumárraga. The situation was bad. The missionaries weren't numerous enough. They didn't know the language. They tried in thousands of different ways to make themselves understood, to no avail. The bishop once said to his missionaries, "If God does not intervene to provide an instant remedy, this land is on the verge of being lost forever." And God did intervene in the way that He loves most to intervene and to undo knots and to undo difficulties, by means of the undoer of knots, by means of His Blessed Mother. In 1524, St. Juan Diego was baptized. 7 years later, Our Lady appeared to him. And when Our Lady did appear to him, she spoke to him in these words, "Juan, the humblest of my children, know and understand that I am the ever-Virgin Mary, Mother of the true God, through whom all things live. It is my ardent desire that a church be erected here so that I can show and bestow my love in it, my compassion, my help and protection to all who inhabit this land, and to those others who love me, that they might call upon me with confidence." She also said to him in these words, "Listen and understand, my humblest son. There is nothing to frighten and distress you. Do not let your heart be troubled, and let nothing upset you. Is it not I, your mother, who is here? Are you not under my protection? Are you not, fortunately, in my care? Do not be distressed." And Our Lady proved herself to be faithful to her words. Soon after the apparition of Our Lady, of the Virgin of Guadalupe, inexplicably, conversions began occurring at an astounding rate. Native Americans, Native Indians from all over the place, near and afar, would come to venerate the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which spoke to them very eloquently. They would come asking for the sacraments. And with the help of just a small group of Franciscan missionaries, a very small group, in the course of 8 years, by 1539, close to 9 million Indians had converted with the help of the missionaries. Our Lady is rightly called the patroness of the Americas. She still protects the peoples of the Americas, and her words are still true today. She speaks to us still. "Am I not your mother? Are you not in the fold of my mantle? Do not be distressed." Our Lady can and still does undo all the knots that sin causes in our lives, all the evil effects of sin. There's no problem that Our Lady cannot resolve, national or international, in the family, in the workplace, in our personal lives. All we have to do is just follow the example of St. Juan Diego. Our Lady rightly called him the humblest of her children. With that humility that St. Juan Diego showed, We have to put our trust in Our Lady, in our Blessed Mother. We have to let her untie our knots, in our souls especially. That's where it has to begin. We have to let her untie the knots of sin. Sin and its consequences, big or small. If we do that faithfully, if we do that with trust and confidence in our Blessed Mother, well, then there is no other problem that she will not be able to resolve in our lives, in the world, in the church, in all of society. Praised be Jesus and Mary.